What do you think about the whole Oscar so white thing?
Well, I think it's really, sad that it had to be so blatant for us to wake up and realize what it was. This isn't new. The board isn't new. The situation isn't new. I think, some loud squawking chickens just raised the bar of attention right now, but this isn't new. And, while a lot of people say, why do we seek the approval of the white man so much? It's the status of the statue and the status of the quality of the work. I don't think that we really are out for the white man's approval, but everybody wants an Oscar for a job well done. And but when the people who are looking at the material and who definitely don't watch all of the movies submitted, and when the board is, elderly white males, then a lot of films directed by women, a lot of films that are in the urban sector, whatever, are probably not going to get seen and are going to get passed over. That's why, we do have the Latin Grammys and the, Telemundo, and we have BET, and we have the Soul Train Awards and stuff like that, because you have to pat your own self on the back sometime. I think that we just have to just keep on working and developing our own stuff and try to please our own selves and our own communities, and don't worry so much about what's going on at the Oscars. And eventually the times will change and the board will change and the template for the movies that are watched will change, and everything will come around eventually, I believe.
Well, what do you think about Stacey Dash's comments about how there shouldn't be a BET Awards, there shouldn't even be a BET?
I think that Stacey Dash and Donald Trump should run off and immediately get married because they're made for one another.
Yeah?
Stacey, you have to, sometimes you can see things from all points of view. And while, the hood would say she's delusional and would love to bitch slap her, I can see where her twisted little mind is coming from, but it's not based in reality. And she's a little hypocritic due to the body of work that she's done and the massive magazine covers that she's posed ass up on. If that were the case, and when did she start feeling this way? She should have turned that work down years ago if she felt, any type of way.
Well, she was on BET not too long ago on The Game.
Yeah. So BET wants their check back, from what I hear.
They want their check back.
Yeah.
I don't think they're getting it back.
I don't think so.
What about the comments about there shouldn't be a BET Awards, there shouldn't be an Image Awards, there should be full integration or total exclusion?
Well, she's right. There should be full integration. However, there's not. And in the meantime, why not pat ourselves on the back? Why not have an NAACP Awards? Why not have a BET Award? Why not have a Soul Train Awards? And, just the same as, we don't really pay a lot of attention, unfortunately, what's going on in the Asian community, but I'm sure they've got their own award shows as well, and so do the Latinos and Latinas. So, everybody wants to be accepted by their peers and by their community, and everybody else is sort of secondary. So, while I hear her when she says there shouldn't be one, what she really should have said is there shouldn't have to be one. We shouldn't have to have it that way, but we do.
You know about, T.K. Kirkland?
I do.
So I asked him the same question.
I agree with that. I believe we got to stop fucking complaining, yo. Like, I'm really down for, let's make everything even and we do what we do. Or if that's the problem, we create our own Oscar for the film industry, just like we have our own awards for music. We could do the same thing.
Right, because you don't have a Black Movie Awards.
We don't have a Black Movie Awards.
So TK is essentially agreeing with Stacey Dash.
And, like I said, I don't agree that we shouldn't have it. I agree that we shouldn't have to have it. And that's not up to us. That's up to everybody to try to feel the same way we do. If everybody doesn't feel the same way we do, It's fine for blacks to get up and squawk about not being included. Where's all the friends of all these black people? Where's the white people that stand up beside George Clooney and the other girl from, that wild girl from Playbook, whatever that was. There's white people who feel the same way we do.
Yeah,
but are they going to speak out? Are they going to go on the carpet and say, yes, it should be more diversity? Probably not. It's just like everybody who wants to be black and sag their pants and listen to hip hop. If they started hanging black people again, how black would they want to be then?
I think a lot of white actors don't want to touch on it, or even black actors who get potentially not, who think they might get nominated kind of soon aren't speaking on it. I reached out to a whole bunch of black people in Hollywood that I know, and most of whom haven't even hit me back.
Well, they're sellouts, because if you don't want to speak your truth, then you're playing the game and you're playing the wrong game. There is no, I've worked with Adam Sandler, I've worked with Sacha Baron Cohen, I've worked with David Duchovny, I've worked with some very, Steve Landesberg, I've worked with some very powerful white actors in this town, and there's nothing that they can do that's not going to make me say what it is that I want to say. I'm not afraid of nobody. I'm not scared of being blacklisted. There's nothing they can do to make me not work. If I don't do films, I'll produce my own film. If I don't get on television, I'll do my own TV shows. I'm on stand-up. They can't stop that. So there's nothing they can do that will make me fearful that I'm never going to work again unless they're relying on the white man to give them work. Like, come on.
Well, remember Eddie Murphy back in '84? That's what TK was talking about. He was presenting the Oscar for Film of the Year, and he spoke about black people not getting nominated and so forth.
Yeah, and look at what Marlon Brando and that Indian chick did that one year, just to make a statement, even if it's not about this particular statement, just to make a statement about something, just to be ballsy and not just to, what's the word I'm trying to say, to just go along with the gang and go along with the plan. That's what makes being an American great, because we can voice our opinions without, being shot on sight for it, and we can say what we want to say. We have the freedom to say it, and we don't use it. That's stupid.
Straight Outta Compton did get nominated, but only the writers got nominated for Best Screenplay.
The white writers.
The white writers got nominated for Best Screenplay. You saw the film?
4 times.
4 times. Okay.
3 times on a plane to Amsterdam. So
Long flight.
I was strapped in a seat,
Right. I saw it. I saw the premiere.
I was at the premiere.
Great film.
Wonderful.
Great film. Do you believe it deserved more Oscar nominations?
I do. First of all, you can't deny that the receipts.
Yeah.
The movie made, like $100 million and was in the top, it was #1 for 6 weeks. Something like that.
Well, but the biggest selling films don't always get Oscars.
Not always, but this one should have, because #1, when you look for a movie that takes you on highs and lows and emotion and grips everybody, there's a groundswell that happens when it comes to people that are going to get nominated. We knew that year Monique was going to get nominated. We knew. We know that this year Leo's probably going to get the Oscar. It's a groundswell that happens. You can feel it in the city. Maybe you can't feel it in Wisconsin. Maybe you can't feel it in Chicago.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't feel it in Oakland. But in this town, you can feel it. And so there was a groundswell with Straight Outta Compton. Now, do I expect a 65-year-old white man who grew up in Wyoming and who now lives in Calabasas to be able to relate to that? Yes, because it's all about the compassion and the story. If I can watch, the Royals and relate to that, surely they can watch this and relate to any kid being slammed on the ground just for the fact that they're black. The rappers in NWA weren't gangsters per se. That wasn't their MO. Easy might have been, and they used that money to do something good. They might have had some weapons. Who don't,
Right.
But they were using the voice that they had to express what was going on, what they saw, in the language that they grew up with and were familiar with. They used to have a group called The Last Poets,
Yep.
way back in the day, who did the same thing that straight out that NWA did, just without music, just with drums. They've always had, people who spoke out like that. Gil Scott did the same thing and being revolutionary and in their language. So do I think that Straight Outta Compton deserved an Oscar? Not. If they can give an Oscar to whoever those fools were that wrote "It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp" back when we did Hustle and Flow, if they can win an Oscar, then
Well, they got. I mean, you're talking about 3 6 Mafia. They got an Oscar for the song.
okay,
not
but
for the film.
okay, then we could have got nominated for a soundtrack. We could have got nominated for some of these actors are first time actors.
The Compton album is nominated for a Grammy.
Okay. Well, yeah, right. Sorry, my bad. But the performances that these actors, who were all unknowns,
Yeah.
did, I think was great. Now, I'm biased.
Right.
Obviously. I grew up with NWA.
NWA.
I remember when it happened. I remember when hip hop started. I remember the first day MTV came on television. So these are things that are biased to me. But I think that if they were to sit and watch, Paul Giamatti and these characters in the way that it happened, I think that anybody could relate to the overall frustration of the time. However, when you get to a certain class, you don't want to think about shit like that no more. And so they don't, if you're a 65-year-old white man from Wyoming and you live in Calabasas, you're not trying to hear that shit. So there you go.
Okay, so at my age, I remember when Eazy-E's first album dropped, Straight Outta Compton. Like I remember buying it,
Sure.
buying
Who
the
doesn't?
singles,
Right.
and I like NWA is actually my favorite music group of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I actually like NWA better than the Beatles, personally. And I've interviewed DJ Yellow. Like there's like literally about 20 NWA related interviews that I did. So I am extremely close to this. But I got in a conversation with a friend of mine, and I had to take a step back because we were talking about the best, music biopics, films of all time. And one of the things that we talked about was when you look at the performance of the actors of Straight Outta Compton, and you compare it to Ray and what Jamie Foxx did, or you compare it to What's Love Got to Do with It, with Angela Bassett and who's the co-star and who played
Lawrence Fishburne?
Lawrence Fishburne. I don't think that the caliber of acting that you saw in those two films, and I know Jamie Foxx won an Oscar for Ray.
They're not an ensemble. They were one person doing one person. This is an ensemble of guys doing an ensemble of guys, I don't know that any one person should stick out. I think that Jason, who portrayed Eazy-E, did an excellent job for a boy who wasn't really even born when NWA really even started. You know what I mean? And he had to do his research, and to embody somebody like that, I think he did a great job.
So Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett were both nominated for Oscars.
Right, but did they win?
They did not win.
They did not win.
They won a Golden Globe.
Right.
Angela Bassett won a Golden Globe,
Right.
which is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I've been salty with the Oscars ever since Diana Ross didn't win for Lady Sings the Blues and Liza Minnelli did for Cabaret. I've been salty since then. I'm not over that. So
You're still mad about it.
I'm still mad about that. I can't wait. One day I'll meet Diana Ross and I'll tell her. I'll say, you should have won. She knows it. Still, and then I'll be able to go on to heaven. But, this is just my opinion. Nobody cares about my opinion at the Oscars. They don't know me.
They don't check with you before they make the nomination?
Not this year, not so far.
Not this year. Maybe
No.
next year.
Maybe.
Okay. And, for example, the president of the Academy Award committee is an African-American woman, first time in Academy Award history.
Okay, and I was the first black in my high school. Your point?
Right.
Right.
And she did say that she's going to try to look at the voting committee and bring more diversity to it.
That's what she says.
Yeah. Do you feel that black people should boycott the Oscars this year? Will Smith, Will and Jada are
I
boycotting.
think that, my heart says, fuck them, but my Conscious says it would be a great platform to get in front of that microphone and say something important. Like the only reason to watch for us is to see if Chris Rock really comes and brings the pain, which I'm sure he will. Chris Rock has never been anybody's Uncle Tom, so he's not going to get up there and just pretend like it ain't the topic of conversation. I know that he has writers, and I know that he's a comedian first, and he can very well go out there and say, fuck what the writers say, he's the host, they can't eliminate him from the show unless they just jacked him off with a cane in the middle of his statement. So, you know, he has an opportunity, like it's almost like the whole weight is on Chris's shoulders. He absolutely cannot boycott. And we absolutely need to watch so that we can see what he said. Now, you don't need to watch to see what he says, because whatever he says is going to be all over TMZ and everything, Good Morning America and everything the very next day. So we can watch the highlights without watching the Oscars. But, I mean, you know, if I'm around, I'll probably still watch just for the red carpet because I like fashion, and I'll watch to see what Chris says. But I think if you want to stay home, stay home. If you want to go, go.
I know Jaden a little bit. You know, we run into each other in Calabasas.
That's cute. He can date all the
He
white
was wearing
girls.
a dress last
time.
Last time I seen him. Yeah, he was wearing a dress last time I seen him.
Okay. Does he come down to Crenshaw with one on?
I don't think he goes to Crenshaw, period.
I don't think. He might slip down there, but he ain't got no goddamn skirt on when he comes down there. I bet you that.
Speak up for the black community on the main stage, because she don't got to do that. Beyonce's rich. Beyonce's not black or white. She's Beyonce. All right? She's not man or woman. She's Beyonce. She's reached that level like Oprah. Like Oprah's just an entity. That's what Beyonce is. So Beyonce don't have to speak up for us.